Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Welcome to this guitar workout. We're going to be talking about seventh chords. We discussed them in the lesson previously, and now we're actually going to work them out and spell them together. We're in the middle of a series called How Music Works. If you haven't been following along with us, we've covered major scales, and we've covered intervals, diatonic intervals, and harmonic intervals, and diminished, and all that sort of stuff. We've gotten into keys and key signatures and triads, the 4 different types of triads, major, minor, augmented, and diminished, and now we are to 4-note combinations, seventh chords. Seventh chords is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And we're going to be spelling a bunch of seventh chords. If you get lost with when somebody starts talking about music theory, then you've come to the right place. A nickel's worth of music theory can get you out of a lot of musical situations. So it's really great to know just a little bit of what you need to. So we're going to be talking about the real nuts and bolts of music theory. There's a PDF that goes along with this workout in the if you look in the download link below in the YouTube description, you can get to that. Tonight we're going to be talking about the seventh chords. So if you can grab the seventh chord section of that, that would be great. These are 4-note combinations, and we ended up with, if you remember from our lesson last time, let me see if I can get the right sheets out here in front of me, we ended up with 6 different combinations of seventh chords. So let's review those really quickly and how we got to them and how we arrived at those. So if you'll remember, I'm just going to review them real quick. If you look at that first page of seventh chords, there's a little box right in the middle of the page that says the seventh chord types. The first one we come across is the major seventh. 1, 3, 5, 7. The first, the third, the fifth, and the seventh of the C major scale, or of any major scale, whatever you're in. So if I was spelling a C major seventh, it would be a C, E, G, and a B. 1, 3, 5, and 7. 1, 3, 5, and 7. Now remember, and if we could do that in other keys, so let's do that in a few other keys, shall we? Hey, let's do F major. What is an F major seventh? Who's going to be the first one to put that in the F major seventh in the chat here while we're going here? An F major seventh. 1, 3, 5, and 7 in the key of F. You ready? Starts with an F. The third would be an A. The fifth would be a C. And the seventh would be an E. Jack Lloyd, you were the first one. F-A-C-E. That's right. There you go. Let's do it in another key. Let's do it in the key of D. D major. So you have to think, remember, about the key signature in the key of D. So the key signature in the key of D is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So you've got F sharps and C sharps in the key of D. All right, so now you need to pull out of that scale the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. In the key of D, that would be a D. That would be an F sharp. That would be an A. That would be a C sharp. It's a real pretty sounding chord. Okay, very pretty sounding chord. They use it a lot in jazz. D, F sharp, A, C sharp. All right, remember you got to keep that C sharp in mind, because that C sharp is in the key signature of D. So you can't just say D, F sharp, A, C. It's got to be D, F sharp, A, C sharp. All right, let's do one more. We're in the key of, let's make it a hard one. A flat major seventh. I need an A flat major seventh. 1, 3, 5, and 7 in the key of A flat. A flat's got how many flats in it? 4 flats. A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat is the scale. So if I whipped out of that, the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7 would be A flat, C, E flat, and then G. Now remember, as I'm playing these chords, you're not just playing a shape, okay, that you learned out of your big guitar chord book, okay? This is a collection of a collection of notes. This is an A flat major seventh, not because it's the right shape, it's because it has the right collection of notes in it. A flat, C, E flat, and G. So how a chord is voiced is just what order those notes come in, what octave they come in. Is there 2 of one and 3 of another, or 1 of one? That sort of stuff. That's just the voicing of the chord. But really, there's only 4 crayons in the crayon box on that one. The 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. Okay? A flat, C, E flat, and G natural. Now, remember, we talked about last time, there's a rule. All right? So now it's time to get to the rule. The rule says, for 7th chords, the rule says it's always going to be a flatted 7th unless it says the magic word major in the chord name. So when we were saying C major 7th or F major 7th, then that's just a regular, unaltered, normal 7th. But everything else, except for one exception we'll get to in a minute, is going to be a flatted 7th. Everything else, but that one exception, is going to be a flatted 7th. All right, so armed with that information, let's say, a minor 7th. A minor 7th. So in the key of C, a minor 7th would be a 1 flat 3 5, the minor triad. And then, did it say the magic word major? No, it didn't. So it's just a flatted 7th. So 1 flat 3 5, flatted 7th. In the key of C, it would be a C, E flat, G, and a B flat, okay, because the B would be natural, would be normal. Okay, so you see how that works. 1 flat 3 5, flat 7. The only time it's an unaltered natural 7th is when it says major in the chord name. C major 7th, major 13th, major 9th, major 7 flat 5, major 13th, sharp 11. All of that is, that word major is what's key, is what you should key off of. Okay? All right, so a minor 7th would be C 1 flat 3 5 flat 7. The key of C would be C E flat, G, B flat. Hey, let's do another one. Oh, let's go in the key of B flat. In the key of B flat, what would be a B flat minor 7th? B flat minor 7th. Okay, so first of all, I need to find the key of B flat. The key of B flat has 2 flats in it. Now, I didn't know that because I'm some sort of a musical genius. I knew that because of 2 sessions ago we talked about keys and key signatures. If you can match up the 12 keys and the key signatures that those go along with, man, everything starts to work in music. That is the fundamental thing you need to learn, is the keys and the key signatures. If you can just match what key has what in its key signature, what notes are sharped or flatted in that scale, everything else is relatively easy. That is the core of all of this Music Works segment. So a B flat minor would be a B flat, and then the third would be a D, but we don't want the third, we want the flatted third, so it'd be D flat, B flat, D flat. The fifth would be an F, B flat, D flat, F. The 7th would be an A, but we want the flatted 7th, so it'd be an A flat. A B flat minor 7th, a very rich sounding chord. Here's a good one here. B flat, F, A flat, D flat, and F in that voicing. Okay? The notes in a B flat minor 7th are B flat, D flat, F, and A flat. All right, so let's get another one. I don't know. Let's an easy one. E minor 7th. Easy. E minor 7th. In the key of E, we've got 4 sharps. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Okay? Oh my goodness, there's a million of them. No, there's only 12 keys. Only 12. All you have to do is remember those 12. We've got little flashcards and some of the handouts. You can cut those out. Practice with yourself while you're sitting at the desk, while you're having lunch. As you're driving down the highway, think about these and try and memorize. That's all you have to do. Once you get those 12 things down, things work. And E minor 7th. Ready? E, G, B, D. E, G natural, because the regular third would be a G sharp. Okay? So that if I flatted that third, it would be just a G natural. E, G, B, the 5th. Then the normal 7th would be a D sharp. The flatted 7th would be a D. E minor 7th. E, G, B, D. E, G, B, D. Okay, we have our E minor 7th there. All right, so we've gone major 7th, we've gone minor 7th. All right, let's kick it up a notch. Let's go to our new one, which is a dominant 7th, which is a major triad, 1, 3, 5, and the flatted 7th. Didn't say the magic word, so it's a flatted 7th. Major triad and a flatted 7th. In the key of C, it would be a C, E, G, and a B flat. 1, 3, 5, flat 7th. What would it be in the key of G? In the key of G, what would it be? Think it out. In the key of G, we have an F sharp. So if I did 1, 3, 5, and then the flatted 7th, 1 would be G, 3 would be B, D would be the 5th, F sharp would be the normal, unaltered 7th, the flatted 7th would be an F natural, G, B, D, F natural. There you go. Gets kind of a bluesy sound. Really good for blues. Okay, a couple more. Let's do I don't know, D 7th, regular D 7th. Here we go. In the key of D, we have 2 sharps. D. So a D 7th would be what? D. F sharp, because that's the 3rd. 5th would be A, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and then the normal 7th would be C sharp. The flatted 7th would be a C natural, D, F sharp, A, C. That is a dominant 7th chord. Now remember how that's abbreviated. We don't say Dom 7 or D 7 or anything like that. It's just going to be the letter name and it's 7. Okay, F 7, G 7. B7, E7, things like that. E flat 7, things like that. All right, so we've done major 7th, 1, 3, 5, 7. We've done minor 7th, 1 flat 3, 5, 7. We've done dominant 7th, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Only 3 more. We've got an augmented 7th. An augmented triad is 1, 3, sharp 5. We're getting these intervals bigger. Okay, augmenting. 1, 3, sharp 5. Did it say the magic word? No. So it would be a flat 7th. So in the key of C, a C augmented 7th. Let's see what that would be. That would be a C, then an E natural, then a G sharp, and then a B flat. G sharp, the sharp 5, the 5th, but sharped. Okay, and you would go up from there. So now occasionally you're going to run into some weird things. So let's see if we can went to, I don't know, let's do a B augmented 7th. A B augmented 7th. All right, in the key of B, we've got 5 sharps. Oh my goodness. 5 sharps. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. Okay? So a B 7th would be, B augmented 7th would be B, and then C sharp, D sharp, that would be D sharp, and then F sharp would be the 5th, but we want the 5th sharped. Well, how do I sharp an already sharped note? Well, in this big world of ours, we will have occasionally, we're going to have double sharps we talked about. So double sharp. So you can sharp an already sharped note, and it becomes a double sharp. You can flat an already flatted note, and it becomes a double flat. Now, resist the urge to spell it enharmonically. Enharmonically, what does that mean? That means by another name, okay? So if in this case, we have an F sharp, that's sharped again, so that's an F double sharp. But isn't that in the same place as it would be as a G? Yes, it would be a G. It is the same fret as a G, and an F double sharp would be equals a G, okay? But the fact that it's an F is telling you something about its placement in the key. The name is telling you its function in that key. So if I'm in the key of B, and we were spelling our B augmented 7th that we just did, B, D sharp, F double sharp, okay? It's going to be some kind of an F, because a 5th in the key of B is an F sharp, so it's going to be some kind of an F. Not going to be a G, I know it's in the same place as a G, you know it's in the same place as a G, but in theory land, naming tells its function, so it's going to be some kind of an F. B, D sharp, F double sharp, and flatted seventh, which would be just an A, because there's a normal A sharp in the key of B, so a B augmented would be B, D sharp, F double sharp, and an A. Maria is asking online, could you spell out the A-flat augmented seventh? Sure, we can spell out an A-flat augmented seventh, of course. You guys are going to do it. I already know how to do this. You're the ones that need to learn how to do this. In the key of A-flat, we've got one, not two, not three, kids, but 4 different flats, okay? A-flat, B-flat, if I'm going up the scale, C, D-flat, E-flat, F, G, and A-flat. So we have B-flats, E-flats, A-flats, and D-flats. B-E-A-D conveniently spells the word bead. Bead. Okay, so armed with that information, we're going to spell an A-flat augmented seventh. Well, the 1 would be A-flat. Okay, what's the 3? A-flat, B-flat, C, A-flat, C, okay? What's the 5th? That would be an E-flat, A-flat, C, E-flat, but we don't want the 5th, we want the sharped 5th, the augmented 5th. So that would be an E natural, okay? It was an E-flat, that's a normal 5th, so it would be an E natural, A-flat, C, E natural, and then the flatted 7th in the key of A-flat, that would be a G, that's a normal 7th, flat, A-flat, C, E, G-flat. Okay, augmented chords get this sort of a kind of an unsettled sound to them. A-flat major, A-flat minor, kind of a darker sound. A-flat major 7th, pretty. A-flat minor 7th, kind of minor, sad sounding, rich sounding. A-flat dominant 7th, sounds bluesy. Okay, A-flat augmented kind of gets this unsettled sort of a sound. It's good for using to go to other chords. Now, we talked about, those are 4. Then we talked about the diminished ones. So the first ones we run across in the diminished are a half diminished. 1, flat 3, flat 5, the diminished triad, and then just a, didn't say the magic word, so it's just a flatted 7th. 1, flat 3, flat 5, flatted 7. So if I was in the key of C, a C half diminished would be C, E flat, the flatted 3rd, G flat, the flatted 5th, and then a B flat, the flatted 7th. C, E flat, G flat, B flat. C, E flat, G flat, B flat. Again, a very unsettled sort of a sound. Is a half diminished sound on guitar. Okay? Now, and these will be abbreviated, you'll see, with a circle with a slash through it. Sometimes you'll see half dim, in the key, but oftentimes they're not going to do it that way. They're just going to do a circle with a slash through it. Or sometimes you may even see it written out as a minor 7th flat 5, okay, which sounds like it's a different chord, but actually it's not like that one. It is exactly that one. Okay, a C half diminished and a C minor 7 flat 5 is the same thing. Minor 7th, C, E flat, 1 flat 3, 5 flat 7, but we're flatting the 5, so it's 1 flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, same thing. Okay, okay, and then we learned that the fully diminished is this unique little animal that doesn't fit with the rest of the family. Okay, it's a diminished triad, 1 flat 3, flat 5, and then just to confuse you, just to be weird, it's not a 7. It's not even a flatted 7. It's a doubly flatted 7. A diminished triad, fully diminished 7th, sorry. It starts out with a diminished triad, 1 flat 3, flat 5, and then a doubly flatted 7th. Don't ask me why that is. That's just how it is in life. Okay? So if I was doing that in C, it would be a C, E flat, G flat, and a B double flat. Don't say A. I know it's an A, you know it's an A, don't say A because it has to be some kind of a 7th, and the 7th note in the key of C is going to be a B. So it's going to be some kind of a B, no matter how much I have to adjust it with flats or whatever to get it working, okay? C, E flat, G flat, B double flat. That's the fully diminished. And what makes that chord so unique is the intervals within it are all identical. A C to an E flat, 1 to flat 3 is a minor third, 3 half steps. The distance from E flat, the second note, to the next one, E flat to the G flat, is also 3 half steps. The distance from the flat 5 up to the double flatted 7th is also 3 half steps, a minor third. And the distance from the doubly flatted 7th up to the back to the root again is 3 half steps yet again. It's a musical repeating number. Okay, so it is a unique little animal on guitar, on any instrument. But on guitar, it's particularly handy because we don't have to change forms. We can just move the same C diminished shape up 3 frets, up 3 frets again, up 3 frets again. It's the same thing. Why bother learning new things when you can just use the same thing over and over again? Just move it up 3 frets. And that allows us to do some really cool, fun things. Okay, all of that sort of fanciness is just the same chord moving down 3 frets. So you'll hear that a lot in jazz, you'll hear it in a lot of other styles where they're just using that form. You know, I only know 3 diminished shapes. This one on the 6th string, this one on the 5th string, and this one with a 4th string root. There's only 3 that I know. I play guitar for a living. There's only 3 that I know. Okay? And that's all that you need because all they do is repeat. So there you go. All right, so we've talked about major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th, augmented 7th, half diminished, fully diminished. Now we've gotten to where I want to get to. Or actually, no, let's look at a couple of the worksheets here. And let's spell a couple of these worksheets. If you look at that first 7th chord worksheet, okay? First 7th chord worksheet. You have that gray box in the middle. Let's talk about the abbreviations just for a second. For the major 7th, that's abbreviated MAJ7. Sometimes in jazz, you use a lot of symbols, and you'll see a triangle. C triangle 7th, or C triangle 9th, C triangle 13th, something like that. That's indicating a major 7th. Minor 7th would be C MIN 7th, or sometimes just a lowercase m7. Sometimes in jazz, with their symbols, it'll be a minus sign 7. A dominant 7th, remember, has no prefix. It's just the root and then the number 7, C7, F7, G7. That's indicating that it's a dominant 7th. Augmented 7th, you'll see that abbreviated AUG, or you'll also see it with a plus sign. Okay. Diminished is going to be a superscript circle, a full circle. Sometimes you'll see dim, D-I-M. And then half diminished is half D-I-M, and then a circle with a slash through it. Okay. We have a question online. Could you show a common voicing for an augmented 7th chord? Are you ready? Actually, let's do it up here in C. An augmented 7th chord is what did we say? 1, 3, sharp 5, flat 7. One of my favorite ones is this shape right here. C, E, G sharp, B flat. Okay. Very unsettled sound. Here's a little trick about voicings, okay? You don't have to learn 1,000, just think. If I took this C and I raised it up 2 octaves, well, that would put it here. So if I put that C there and left the rest of the chord as it is, then I have an augmented 7th again. Same thing, a C augmented 7th. I just flipped the notes around. If I lower 2 octaves, it's down there. If I raise it up 2 octaves, it's there. Any way that I can connect those 3 tones, and I'll have an augmented 7th. Now, sometimes in chords, you just start, especially in more complicated chords, you just can't I mean, you've only got 6 strings and 4 fingers that you can use on them. So sometimes you're just going to have to, if you have a 7-note chord, you're just going to have to drop something. Well, what do you drop? Well, you generally keep the 3rd, because that's telling you whether it's major or minor. You keep the 7th, because that's telling you whether it's a flatted 7th or a regular 7th. You keep any color tone. If it's a C ninth, the 9th. If they're asking you for a C 13th, then play the 13th. So they obviously want that tone. But other than that, that's really all you need to play. Like for a C 13th, which has the notes C, E, G, B flat, D, F, but I don't play it, and an A, that's a lot of notes. I can get by with just doing this, though. There's the 3rd, there's the 7th, and there's the color tone. But, Steve, that sounds kind of nasty. Hey, when you're in a band and the bass player is playing the bass, the root note, his only job is to play that C. So I, as a guitar player, don't necessarily need to play that C. I could just play the little things that are left to be played. So I can get by with just doing these just the notes that are needed in your voicing. It's a little trick, okay? All right. All right, let's get on to another concept. Oh, I'm sorry, we were spelling a couple of 7th chord. On that 7th chord worksheets, let's spell a couple of these. You ready? Oh, look at number 1, a G major 7th. G major 7th. 1, 3, 5, 7 in the key of G, which would be a G, B, D, and an F sharp. I would encourage you to fill out these forms and fill them out again, and fill them out again, and fill them out again. The answer keys are in the download section there with that link that takes you to the download section. So I give you the answers, but don't cheat. The idea is for you to know it. And sure, well, Steve, I have to figure it out, and it takes 5 minutes for me to figure it out. Yeah, but if you figure it out 20 or 30 times, then pretty soon you've got it. G, B, D, F sharp. That's what it is. How did I know that? Because I've solved that problem 5 gazillion times. So a lot of times if we solve the problem twice and we think we've got it. No, you need to solve it until you can solve it so fast that you don't even have to think about it. Faster than you can write it. That's when you know you've got it. When you can look at a page and it says G major 7th, and I know that I can go G, B, D, F sharp as my solo, and it's going to work. That's when you're getting it. So I encourage you to solve these and solve them again. Okay. Yes, it's going to be tough, hard, first few times you do it. Take a long time, frustrating. Yep, you bet. But just do it for about a week, and then it'll be done, and you'll have it for the rest of your musical life to thank yourself for that work. Number 2, C minor 7th. That's an easy one. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7th, and the key of C would be C, E flat, C, E flat, G, B flat. The next one, number 3, is an F augmented, F plus 7, F augmented 7, F, A, C sharp, and an E flat. So you have to keep in mind what those keys and key signatures are. So if you're still a little fuzzy on your keys and key signatures, man, stop everything and learn those first. And then you can move on and everything's going to start working for you. Okay, so that's that. The next page after that, I give you them by key. You know, like we spell all the ones in the key of C, all the ones in the key of F. And so fill all those out. Check yourself on with the answer keys there. The 7th chord worksheet, the one after that, we get you a few more, a little bit more to practice it. Another good way to practice those is to open up a songbook. Your favorite song. What were we doing there at the beginning? I was playing the Tennessee Waltz. Starts on a G major triad. That's a G, B, D. Then it goes to a G major 7th, G, B, D, F sharp. And there is a G 7th, sort of a shape. G, B, D, D, F. Then it goes to a C major, C, E, G. So you're constantly flipping these chord tones all around. All right, there you go. All right, so we've talked about that, and now I want you to whip out, there's a sheet down there that is talking about the harmonized major scales in sevenths. Okay, I don't know if I have it on the sheet, but I do have a graphic of it. Okay, so we talked about that last time with, if I just stack thirds in any key, there's a certain pattern of chords that emerges from that. Okay, the 1 chord is major. So if I did that in triads, so if we looked at that in the key of C and I just stacked triads first, we end up with this combination of notes. C major, 1 is major, then the chord built off of the second step, D, that's minor. Chord built off the third step, that's E, that's minor. Chord built off of the 4, that's major. Chord built off of the 5, that's major. 6 is minor. 7 ends up being a diminished. So I don't really care about the key. What I want you to look is the pattern of the chords. 1, 4, and 5 are major. 2, 3, and 6 are minor, and 7 is diminished. We'll go back to our Tennessee Waltz. I'm in the key of G, so I'm going to see a lot of G major. And then I go to a 4 chord, which would be major, and that would be a C major. Then it goes back to the 1 chord, which is a G. Oh, then it goes to the 6 chord, which that would be a minor, an E minor. Then a 2 chord, which would be minor. And then a 5 chord, which is major. So in those keys, I'm going to see a certain pattern of chords. So in the key of G, I'm not going to see a lot of D minors. I'm not going to see A majors because that would be the second, and it's supposed to be minor, so I'm not going to see majors very often. Okay, but if I go to the next level and I add another triad or another third on top of that, I get a different combination of notes for 4-note 7th chords. Okay, and so if I do that in the key of C and I add those up, then you'll see that the 1 ends up being 1, 3, 5, 7, which ends up being a major 7. So if it's in the key of C, it'd be C, E, G, B. Okay, the chord built on the second step ends up being a 2 minor 7th. Now it's notated there with Roman numerals. That's how we do it in the theory world, and when we're in theory land, we have Roman numerals. So the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 6 chord are still minor, but now they're just minor 7ths. The 1 chord and the 4 chord are still major, but they're major 7ths. The 5 chord now has gone a different direction. He is now a dominant 7th, a new type of chord, dominant 7th. And the 7th chord ends up being the minor 7 flat 5, which we said was the half diminished. So there you go. All right, armed with that information, let's start thinking about this a little bit. If I'm in the key of C and I want I want the 1 chord, the 6 minor, the 4, and the 5. The 1, the 6 minor, the 4, and the 5 spelled in 7ths. What would that be? C, that would be the 1, C major 7th. What notes are in a C major 7th? Come on, you tell me. What notes are in a C major 7th? 1, 3, 5, 7. Go! Come on, come on, come on, come on. 1, 3, 5, 7, C, E, G, B natural. Then I wanted the 6 minor chord, which would be, the 6th step would be A, and it's minor, so it'd be an A minor 7th. What notes are in an A minor 7th? A, C, E, G. Remember, as I'm analyzing a particular chord, I always go up and down based on its lowest note, its root. Now, in guitar land, we deal with roots a lot. We deal with roots. Okay, what is the root of this chord? Okay, now when you're in other instruments, particularly piano, you do deal with a lot of inversions. Now we have inversions too, but we tend to group things by the root. So, and the root tends to be, more often than not, in guitar voicings, the lowest tone. So I went from a C, if I'm looking for my progression, the 1, 6 minor, the 4, and the 5, it's C major 7th, A minor 7th, A, C, E, G. The 4 would be a F major 7th. Good, Emilio. Emilio is written in the chat. He's got it right down there. F major 7th. What notes are in an F major 7th? I have to analyze those according to F. F, A, C, E. Okay? And the 5 chord would be a G7, so I have to analyze that in the key of, as it relates to G. G, B, D, F. The 1, 3, 5 flatted 7. Okay, let's do another one. So if I'm in the key, let's play that. Oh my goodness, let's play it. If you have your guitar, there's a C major 7th right there. That's a great voicing for that. A minor 7th. That's a good voicing for that. F major 7th. That's a good voicing for that. And then a G7, you could do this one. Or you could do maybe this one. Either one. Which one of them's right? That's up to you as the player. There's G7s everywhere. Oh my goodness. How do I know which one to play? I don't know. You have to just, it's up to you as the player. Okay, so we have a C major 7th to an A minor 7th to an F major 7th to a G7. Let's play it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. C major 7th. Let's go to the 6 minor, A minor 7th. F major 7th. G7. Do it again. C major 7th, C major 7th. See how pretty that sounds, the major 7th. A minor 7th. G7. Okay, now if you're unfamiliar with those chords, we did a series. Let me get my wire back here. We did a series a few weeks back going the chords you need to know. So I'd encourage you to go through that series. And I have a PDF that goes along with that. All of those chord forms are on it. Okay, C major 7ths, minor 7ths, F major 7th, G7s. Okay, the chords you need to know. Okay, so just look at our channel and go back a few videos. You're going to find that. Okay. Let's do one more. If I'm in the key of, let's say, I don't know, F major, and I want to do a 1, 6 minor, 4, 5, just like I did, but I'm going to do it in F major. Okay, so it would be an F major 7th, that's the 1. The 6 minor would be a D minor 7th. What notes are in a D minor 7th? Come on. What notes are in D minor 7th? D, F, A, C. Now let me give you a little hint. When you're solving these, oh my goodness, D, the flat third, F, A, C. Woof, I finally solved it. Okay, don't just solve it, say it. D minor 7th, D, F, A, C. Something about the physical saying of it is going to help that lock that into your memory. Okay, trust old Uncle Steve on this one. Okay, so after you solve that D minor 7th, D, F, A, C, then solve it again and say it. D, F, A, C, D minor 7th, D, F, A, C. Stop looking at your page. Look up and say D minor 7th, D, F, A, C. Okay? That's a good way to do it. It'll help you. I'm telling you, it'll help you from having to solve it all the time. Okay? So we're in the key of F. We're doing 1, 6 minor, 4, and 5. F major 7th, F, A, C, E, D minor 7th, D, F, A, C. What's the 4 chord in the key of F? It would be a B flat. And what's the 4? That would be major 7th. So it would be a B flat major 7th. B flat, D, F, A natural. Excuse me. F major 7th, D minor 7th, B flat major 7th, and then the C 7th, 5, 7, C, E, G, B flat, C dominant 7th. Hey, let's play it. There's our F major 7th again. That's 1. What's the D minor 7th? Oh, there's a good one if you want to do one open with an open string. B flat major 7th. Okay, that's the same one that we used for the C major 7th. And then maybe a C7 if I did open. Okay, so let's play it all together. F major 7th. 1, 2, you know what to do. D minor 7th, D minor 7th, they're ready to go. B flat major 7th. C7. Do it again. Sounds good. Do it again. Hey, hey, hey. D minor 7th. I'm just going through some different voicings. B flat major 7th. Now comes the C7. that's a little bit of how those chords are relating to each other. All right, now further on in that packet, we get into ninths and beyond. That's what we're going to cover next time, and that's going to be the closing of our, man, we've been in this for 4 weeks. I hope you guys have learned a lot. Triads, sevenths. Now we're going to cover, sevenths is as complicated as it gets. Okay, as far as the different forms, and there's 6 different forms. Actually, once we get to ninths and 11ths and 13ths, it starts getting actually a little bit simpler. So thanks for joining us. We will see you next time when we'll be talking about ninths, 11ths, 13ths, and every other combination you can think of. All right, we'll see you then. Keep up the great work in your learning.